Partnership would not be possible if it wasn't for our relationship with the AHLEI. Together, we strive to really bring the level of service to our visitors that keep them coming back year after year. So with that being said, with our recent cohort this winter, we have 1,181 individuals who have earned their CGSP. I would like to invite Executive Director Aaron. Here is a quick snapshot of our recent graduates. We do have some familiar faces in there. Tam, feel free to join Aaron on that side. Thank you.
I passed.
As I call your name, please come up to accept your certificate and pin. Vice Chair Jay Johnson. He didn't give me too much problems.
There you go. Congratulations, sir.
Jay, please remain standing so you can assist in presenting the additional gold pins. Lisa Dominici. Kim Anthony. Eva Fuentes. Dee Weiwei. Once again, congrats to all of our graduates. Lastly, the Guest First program summer schedule will be released in May, so please be on the lookout for that. CGSPs and their supporters, please join me in the next room for refreshments. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Where'd you go? Going outside. Now looking for an approval, for a motion to approve the minutes of the February 13th TDC. So moved. Thank you. And do I have a second? Tony? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Public to be heard. It's going to be a race, who gets there first. You went the long way, he went the short way. That's all right.
I'll be real fast. Hi, I'm Tom Shadrack from Cape Coral. I do love coming to this meeting. It's so well done, and I appreciate everything Tam and her staff do for the TDC and tourism in our county. But my concern I had was trying to bring my family and go into Fort Myers Beach from the south side into Matanza Pass, and I wanted to go and show them Bowditch Park. The docks are all still in disrepair from Ian. It's a eyesore for a lot of tourism that comes through that area, whether it's the Key West Express, the pirate cruise, or anybody using boating in that end. To see that type of disrepair still after 2.5 years from Ian, I couldn't take too much. It's a Lee County park, so I would think as a tourism body, maybe you can have an influence, or maybe you're not even aware that it is in such bad shape, and it is something you can see from the water. So just brought it for your awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa. Lisa?
Good morning, everyone. I am Lisa Wilson with Edison and Ford Winter Estates. I want to thank the TDC for their continued support, and I want to let everyone know that we're having a very special event this weekend. It'll take place both Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're combining our Orchid Symposium with our Grow Fort Myers event, and we're going to have some guest speakers who are going to give presentations on how to propagate rare plants. And it's a free event, and the classes are also free. So we hope everyone will come out and learn something about rare plants and maybe take some orchids home. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Liz?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Spires. I'm the marketing manager at the Westin Cape Coral. I just wanted to bring a few things to everyone's attention that are going on at the resort. So we have a new general manager, but it is not a new face to this area. Bobby has transitioned over to our hotel from the Luminary in Fort Myers. We are super excited to have him. He was not able to be here today, but if you see him around, please congratulate him. One of the biggest things that has come back to the hotel is the Silver King water taxi. So this is a round-trip water taxi that leaves the resort, goes to Fort Myers Beach at Snug Harbor, and then returns in the afternoon back to the resort. It is for resort guests, but there also is a section for locals, and it runs also a nighttime sunset cruise. But this is just a huge big return for our hotel, mainly because it allows our guests to really be connected to the local area, and we really like to promote that connection to Fort Myers Beach. So thank you to everybody who's helped us promote it recently. There's been some press releases and other events that have gone on. But next week, we have a ribbon cutting on Wednesday for anybody who would like to come out and see the boat take off. We're going to christen the boat with some champagne and everything else. So we'd love to have everyone out there if you're available from 9:30 to 10:30. If not, we can send over some photos after. Some other things that are going on are just some of our current promotions that we have. So we're really trying to bring people back into the area with our Discover Cape Coral promotion. We have a group special, which is a rebate to the master. And then we also have a wedding special with our Something Blue weddings. And that is all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz. Chris Lopez.
Good morning, Chairman and Council. I'm Chris Lopez, Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association Regional Manager here in Southwest Florida. It's great to be here on Masters Thursday. Obviously, the garb is appropriate, so thank you all. Just want to give you a brief update on FRLA's advocacy efforts and what we are doing here with the Lee County chapter of FRLA and the board and our events. We have an excellent event at the Lee County School District on Wednesday, April 16th, highlighting our relationship and our support of local high school culinary and hospitality programs and the impact that the local FRLA chapter gives to them through fundraising efforts, and then supporting those programs and ensuring that they can continue and educating our youth to hopefully propel them into our industry in later years. A big crowd of folks from this area, including our chairman, some of our council members, as well as local leaders, were in attendance in Tallahassee a few weeks ago for Tourism Days. It was an excellent event. Walking the halls and supporting issues and combating issues that would impact our industry. So we currently are still tracking very important issues that would have impacts on service charges, automatic gratuity, commercial insurance, removal of hotel residents who may not want to leave their hotel rooms, and things like that. So hopefully session is moving along swiftly. Other issues will be rounded out here in this 6th week of session, and then the budget negotiations begin. Very exciting news. For the first time in a very long time, all 3 budgets from the executive, the House, and the Senate included full funding for Visit Florida for $80 million. We don't think that that's very important to have that commitment and have that ongoing funding for that and how we can benefit here locally in the TDC. Any questions about FRLA, what we're doing here in Lee County? If you'd like to support more or our event next week, please see me. I will be here throughout the entirety of today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any other public to be heard? Municipalities. Vice Mayor Smith.
May I go to the podium?
Please.
Sure.
The podium is yours.
Guests who don't want to leave, is that a thing?
As long as they're paying, I don't have a problem.
Hi, everyone. I am joined by Andrea Miller, who is our Director of our Recreational Services on Sanibel. First, I wanted to let you know at our last council meeting, we had a proclamation, and it is talking about Sanibel being open for business. And with your permission, Vice Chair, Acting Chair, I would like to read that proclamation, and then I have asked for a walk-on request, and I'd like to introduce that. For me.
Please.
Don't believe John Lyons in the audience. Oh, John, could you come on up too, please? So many minds make great work. So this was a collaborative effort of our council, the community, our chamber on this proclamation where Sanibel is open for business. So I will read the proclamation. The City of Sanibel Proclamation. Whereas the City of Sanibel is currently celebrating its 50th anniversary as an incorporated municipality, which independence was inspired by its residents' desire to remain a small town whose members choose to live in harmony with one another and with nature, creating a human settlement distinguished by its diversity, beauty, uniqueness, character, and stewardship, as detailed in the Sanibel's adopted plan and our vision statement. And whereas 2.5 years ago, after Ian devastated our island sanctuary, Sanibel's recovery efforts have been extraordinary. But the city, its residents, and its businesses remain focused on the ongoing process of rebuilding a more resilient community and the vibrant economy that helps make Sanibel a unique small town and nature sanctuary. And whereas, in celebration of Sanibel's 50th anniversary and in the spirit of our founders' realized vision for a unique, diverse community that lives in harmony with one another and with nature, the City of Sanibel wishes to renew its pledge to this vision and promote Sanibel as an open and affirming oasis where all are welcome, to encourage visitors who are essential to Sanibel's quality of place and quality of life. And whereas the City of Sanibel hereby proclaims that Sanibel is open for business and invites all potential visitors and prospective residents to enjoy our unique casual style, our beautiful natural beaches and preserves, our locally owned shops, homespun restaurants, and farmers market, and all of our other eclectic activities and events, which along with our residents are the spirit of Sanibel. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of Sanibel, Lee County, Florida, wish to proudly extend a heartfelt welcome to all visitors and prospective residents to Sanibel Island, a unique community founded on its barrier island sanctuary qualities. And our seal of the City Council is affixed to this. So thank you for letting us read this proclamation. Thank you, John, for helping in that. Thank you. And with that, I am going to go on to the walk-on item. At the last meeting, I had made a request that we would be coming forward for 2 requests. Financial request from the TDC, which absolutely supports Lee County, it supports tourism, or we would not be asking for this. We have reached out to Commissioner Ruane. He is in full support of the asks that we have. Former Mayor Johnson had spoken to him, and our new mayor, Mike Miller, has also affirmed these requests with him to move forward on this action item. The 2 things we are looking at as we are celebrating the 4th of July, the Causeway Islands, which is a Lee County causeway, is looking to be open. We have our fireworks every year, which support everyone in the community. It supports not only Sanibel, but we know those Causeway Islands are a mecca of visitors to come and enjoy throughout Lee County the festivities for Fort Myers Beach. It's an inexpensive option for people to come and enjoy those islands. It's filled. We see the happiness every day. So what Sanibel is asking for is a minimum of about $13,500. And of course, Sanibel always makes a match, so we are happy to provide what we can. These have been trying times. We ask for this humbly. We don't usually ask for these, but again, we want to make sure that everyone is able to celebrate. We contribute to this economy a great deal, and although we're hurting a little right now, we're going to get back and be on top again. During these trying times, we are asking. We do understand that the attorney is going to be looking at this and vetting this. I would ask that possibly there is a vote of confidence that comes through today when the attorney does find the finding is going to be sufficient. And I know there will be another ask for this as well from our sister community, Fort Myers Beach, who is also feeling the same struggles that we have. But let's all remember the amount of money that our islands bring back to our economy. The second ask, for many of you that are in the room, you were able to be on Fort Myers Beach back in 2018, I believe it was, Pam, when we had the Genonia, the Guinness World Book of Records. Sanibel is going to be doing something similar. We are looking at shelling, I believe, on Sanibel, and we are looking to have that in the fall. And it is going to be another promotion that Sanibel is open for business. We welcome people, and what better way during an off season to come and be a part of what I was a part of several years ago. It was thrilling. People made their vacations around it. So we are asking for about $24,500 for that ask, for what the requirements are. And then the city of Sanibel will also be contributing. We are looking for sponsors as well. We want to make it a very impactful event. And with that, I am going to turn the podium over to Andrea Miller so she can discuss a little bit more and answer any questions that you have. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you. Good morning. We appreciate your time and consideration for these two funding requests. As the Vice Mayor mentioned, the fireworks contribution, we would be going with the same fireworks vendor that we have previously utilized. The total contract cost for that is $30,500. We would be asking for a minimum of 50% support for that. We do feel that that would allow a great opportunity for Lee County residents and visitors alike to enjoy this display, as well as celebrate the reopening of our Causeway Beach Park Islands. So that is our first funding ask. Our second one is the Guinness World Record attempt. So for the contract option that we had selected is $24,500. For that dollar amount, the City of Sanibel would contract with Guinness World Records. That would give us a 1-month owned media period. It would allow us to purchase up to $10,000 in event day assets. It would allow us to use the Guinness logo and likeness in one video and in one live stream. So for that contract amount of $24,500, those are the items that would be included, and that is the funding assistance we are requesting today. As the Vice Mayor mentioned, we are also seeking some lead community sponsors for this event. There are additional costs that do not fall underneath the Guinness contract. Some examples of those would be the adjudicator that Guinness sends down. All of the travel and lodging expenses are not covered under that contract. Hiring a media company to film and help us broadcast that day. So items of that nature are additional sources of funding that we'll be seeking assistance for within our community and the city. And with that, I will take any questions you may have.
Rob?
I'm a bit confused as to why this didn't go in front of events and marketing, or how it fell out of cycle, but are you asking for us to move forward the idea that it then would go to a future meeting and the county attorney would have a chance to look at the information and then make a decision, and then we would vote on it in some future meeting?
So yesterday a request was sent to Commissioner Ruane's office and Vice Chair Jay Johnson. Obviously, the county attorney's office has not had a chance to review that. I sent it over yesterday, of course, but, long list of tasks that, everybody's got on their plate. So that Andrea has not had the opportunity. I can let her speak for herself, but she's not had the opportunity to review it yet. And, my thought was we bring this back for your consideration at the next meeting because we want to get a review for sure. You want to know that it's an eligible use of the tax. I'm not as concerned about the Guinness as I am about the fireworks, but, knowing that we've done this before, but with that said, and I realize there's also a request from Fort Myers Beach. We're getting ahead of it, but they are also asking for funds for fireworks for the 4th of July, and we'll unless you have questions for Andrea, maybe we go ahead and let Fort Myers Beach share their thoughts with you as well. Sorry, not to
Question on the,
Tony?
you know, we're talking about September?
The date we're tentatively looking at is Sunday, November 16th to be, November 16th, yes, to be held at Bowman's Beach Park, which is an interlocally operated beach park between Lee County and the city of Sanibel. So we also envision this allowing the opportunity to Lee County to draw more visitors to our islands to celebrate this.
The total cost is the 24.5?
The total cost of the contract with Guinness is $24,500. The additional anticipated costs are estimated to be around $25,000 that would not fall underneath that Guinness contract.
So typically we have a match though, so there's no match or there is a match?
We do have a lead sponsor within our community that has verbally said that they will come forward with $25,000.
So the total's 50 then?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Chair, Acting Chair.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up. your
And I
letter.
would remind you that, similar to Fort Myers Beach, it wasn't, this is a municipality ask. However, it's a benefit for all of Lee County. And on Fort Myers Beach, I don't think that Fort Myers Beach was required, in my memory, to put forth any funding for that. It was TDC based. If I'm
It was an effort of the VC.
right.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
we're kind of picking up on that for
Done
our
on
50th.
private property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob?
So we might as well throw Cape Coral in too. So Red, White, and Boom, how much funding request did they have for fireworks from the city of Fort Myers
And Benita?
and Bonita?
Yes, sir.
Do they have matches, funding requests?
We have not received a funding, the only two funding requests we have are Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach, both received yesterday.
I guess I'm looking to see, have they requested it through some sort of events and marketing or some other type of avenue in the past, or is this a first-time funding request for fireworks?
I can answer that. We have not. The reason that we did it this year is specifically for the 4th of July, with the Causeway Islands being opened and the majority of people that are on those spoil islands are Lee County that comes through there. We were asking for a benefit for us because of the financial hardship that we've been in. As I said, we make a very humble request, but I think the overall benefit to Lee County and Spirit is going to be far-reaching. We certainly understand that other municipalities might also ask. I would remind everybody that unfortunately Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel are still not recovering as many other areas are in Lee County. And we look forward to contributing those tax dollars back that will be distributed through all of Lee County.
Tony?
4th of July is on a Friday. Is that when those fireworks would go off?
Yes, we plan to have our traditional 4th of July parade, followed by a community event at the Recreation Center, followed by the fireworks shot off at the traditional location in the end of Bailey Road.
One question, and maybe you can't answer it, but maybe DOT can. I'm curious, as I go on and off the causeway all the time, are they planning on doing the Easter Sunday sunrise services at all? Does anybody know that? Might be a question to ask, because as I drive by, it looks like they're this close, and I was just curious, maybe the city of Sanibel can check into that and to see. I was just, not anything to do with this, but I was thinking about, it's always been a tradition to do the sunrise Easter service out there.
Tony, I'll find out, but to the best of my knowledge, the Causeway Islands are still closed. So
Yeah.
my guess is no,
Okay.
but I don't know for
I just
sure, but I'll
wondered for
find
that,
out.
quote, one event, they might
Yes.
think about it. It was just a thought process. And we're not asking for any funding.
Thank you. I have a question on the funding for the fireworks. What's the amount that you're asking for?
A minimum 50% contribution, so the total contract cost is $30,500. So I believe it's $15,250.
$13,500.
Well, that's what I was asking. In the letter, it asked for 15.
Oh, then my bad. I was dyslexic.
Okay, that's why I was just trying to clarify which one was right. Any other questions? Rob?
I guess I'm asking, would a more appropriate way to do this be to make a motion to have the county attorney looking into the idea of funding fireworks displays in Lee County. And that would give you an answer as to whether this one, Fort Myers Beach, City of Bonita, Fort Myers, can come every year and ask for some portion of the funding for those fireworks. I would imagine that's totally separate than the Guinness beach activities that you're talking about. Like do that one and then do the Guinness separate.
I agree, it's two different asks. Need to be done separate.
And just so you know, we don't anticipate, Mr. Chair, just so you know, we don't anticipate coming back to ask. This was a time with our 50th anniversary and just trying to promote the island. So we do not have the intention coming back year after year to ask for this small amount.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So you making a motion, Rob?
Just on the, yeah, sure, I'll make a motion on the firework portion to move it forward to the county attorney to look into whether we can use tourism dollars to promote fireworks in Lee County.
Okay.
Second the motion.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. Goes to the county attorney.
Okay.
Who's already researching, it looks like. On the second request for the world record, do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
What is the motion exactly?
Sure. Dan, you want
To have the county attorney review the request for the, Isn't that what?
Well, it's been done in the past, so
I'm not sure to approve.
we're not sure. That's what we're kind of discussing up here. If it needs to be reviewed again, because it has been done by the county.
Through the VCB.
Through the
So
VCB,
the
through their
VCB
budget.
staff, using our marketing budget, did a Guinness World Record. We made a human shell. 2017 or 2018, and I can't remember.
2018.
And so they're asking for funds to do, not exactly the same thing, but break a Guinness World Record. And they're asking to utilize funds for that.
All right, fine, I'll look at it.
All right.
So,
Your motion's correct.
So we need a motion to direct the county attorney to review the ability to use TDC funding for the Guinness World Record event in Sanibel.
Not beer shells.
yes. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tony. Any discussion?
One bit of discussion, like you say, you have to go back and see if the funding is available, and this is out of cycle, correct?
Being out of
Just wanted
cycle
to make
request.
a note that it is out of cycle, and it didn't really go through the events committee, and I don't know why, maybe it was just thought up recently, but just to make that note on the discussion, that's all.
It came after those applications had been closed, is when we'd been starting our discussions on it. I had spoken to Tam about it, but it was afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you. Just want to have that clarity.
Technically, the event cycle just opened, the application cycle just opened for 26. This is technically an FY '26 project, right? No, November.
November, but I heard it was this November.
So it would be in the next fiscal year.
When's that?
When does that application, when does the funding come, when's our committee meet? Okay, that might be I would still.
Wouldn't it be a reimbursement anyway? I mean, it's a reimbursement process, so it might make.
I'm going to defer to you all.
Yeah.
Would you rather know right now?
Well, understood. I understand, but what I'm trying to say to the TDC is there's a possibility that it could be part of the event cycle for the current year. Now, I'm not talking about fireworks because we know that happens
Oh, I
before,
understand.
but I'm talking about the Guinness record could potentially be an event that's part of the event cycle that literally the application's just opened. So that's a
And the date of that's November 16th, which is in the next
fiscal
year.
Correct,
The fiscal year starts in October.
correct.
I'll defer, we'll certainly defer to how you would like us to proceed with that.
It would be my preference to put it through the regular process, but since it's going to be able to fall right into that fiscal, but,
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to end up getting legal finding
Then that-
anyways, so.
Absolutely fine with that. If that's the best way for us to handle that, knowing that that can be in this cycle, then great. Well, technically.
I understand.
Yeah, so we can proceed that way, if you're more comfortable.
we're asking to do this in the normal cycle, which would be then the event would be in November of 26.
This year.
So the fiscal year,
Funding.
I got you, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I got
so I need an opinion. How do I get out of the motion we're in the middle of?
You can
you. Oh, that was just a discussion.
I get some of it.
Withdraw.
I will withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll proceed that way. Thank you.
Okay.
Didn't realize that we had that option, so that's great.
Perfect, thank you.
Just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions for Sanibel? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other municipalities that want to be heard?
I have an idea what you're going to say.
Good morning, Chairman and Council. My name is Jeff Hauge, and I'm the Community Services Director for the town of Fort Myers Beach. Thank you again for your continuing support of our island. Obviously, tourism is a big part of what we do on Fort Myers Beach. I'm here today on behalf, just as Sanibel was, of Fort Myers Beach to respectfully request funding assistance for our fireworks this year. We have a unique situation at Fort Myers Beach after Hurricane Ian where we used to set the fireworks off on the pier. That's no longer an option for us right now. We kind of go to plan B where we have to rent a barge. That is about half of our cost. We did budget for more this year in our last budget cycle for the town, but we came up short. We talked about maybe canceling because of budgetary reasons. You know, we're in recovery mode. Our economy is not, at 100%. So we're asking for funding of $37,500, which is half of our cost. The reason it is higher than Sanibel is that we do set it off from a barge, and that the barge is around $40,000. We do work with the barge company. They have given us good rates. We went out for bid, and they've given us good rates as far as that goes. But with our next year, we'll budget a little more for it. Again, just like Sanibel, we don't anticipate asking year after year. We feel like our recovery is going so well on Fort Myers Beach. We do not want this to impede because it's on a Friday. Also, we're gonna, the hotels will be packed for the weekend, and the town will be booming. Like if you've ever seen some fireworks there before, it's great. The fireworks will be let off right outside, right off the pier, about 500 feet. The reason we have to do a barge also is because we don't have a blasting area on the island. The company, the fire department, determined, we tried to look at Bay Oaks on land last year, but the firing range that they need isn't big enough. We don't have enough open land to fire them off from the land. So that's why we had to go with the barge. We also having our parade in the morning, so we'd like to tie in the parade, have people spend the day on Fort Myers Beach, spend money at the shops, the restaurants, enjoy the beach, and have them stay for the fireworks at night. So that is our request right now. I'm here for questions if you have them. This year also the parade, we're going to do a little bit different if you've been there in the past. We're going to start from the north end, so we do not have to close the bridge again twice in one day. We were trying to be creative because I know that causes a little bit of havoc and for tourism. So we're going to keep the bridge open for our parade this year, run it from the north side past Pink Shell and down Old San Carlos for everyone to enjoy. That's where a lot of our restaurants now are open as well, so we're going to support them. So I'm open for any questions, comments.
Nope.
The barge operator, is it, who are you?
Kelly Brothers.
Kelly Brothers?
Yeah.
And then the cost of the barge is 35,000?
Cost of the barge is, yeah, 35,000, I'm sorry. Yep.
Tony?
First of all, I'm not a pyrotechnic expert, but I have been doing fireworks, close-in fireworks, a different type that you may or may not be aware of. If you're trying to do the same display that you do on the barge on the beach front, can't be done, just like they said it's not close enough. I don't know who you use as the pyrotechnic company, but I don't know if it's possible to save yourself a bunch of money and do a close-in fireworks. It's a little different type of display, but it's very effective that I've been doing for 20 years. And when you look at Tween Waters and the distance that we have, you got people on the road, we fence it off, obviously, because of that, but you can do a heck of a display. And actually, I mean, just my point of view, it's not so distant, it's like right on top of you. Now, I don't know if that's possible, but I thought I'd bring it up to you because the money you would save for the barge would help to have police or whatever you need to rope off the area in enough capacity. And now, I use Zambelli. I don't know if you're using the same.
Yeah, we use Munnerlyn.
Who?
Munnerlyn
I use
Pyrotechnic.
Zambelli's. So, if you want the contact information, I'd be happy to share it with you. I don't know if it's feasible,
Yeah.
but it's just maybe to look at another possibility because the 35,000 that you would save for a barge could make the beach display. I do probably about a 10 to 12 minute display. Of course, I do it when they're looking for something to blow up. It's not on the 4th of July. So, but it's something you might want to consider. That's all.
Yeah, sure. And we did the kind of the same thing when we set it off from the pier. We had to shut off a bunch of our beach to do that. So yeah, but I agree.
Very high end is my guess. And if you do a different type of pyrotechnic, and I'm not the expert,
Sure.
but maybe Zambelli, you can talk to them, or maybe your company that they're doing now, they do a different type.
Sure, I'll
I
definitely.
think it's very effective, but it's your call, obviously.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Mayor?
We've looked at that, not specifically what you're talking about. We've also looked at, the drone fireworks shows. The issue that we have this year specifically is where our temporary town hall is set up on Bay Oaks property. That's the only property we have big enough to potentially even do a smaller version of that. But we have a grant that we're up against to rebuild that Bay Oaks field and that park that has to be used this year. So we have to get our temporary trailers out when we get into the new town hall. So that area is going to be under construction through September. So we don't have access to that to be able to even do a drone show. So we did look at that, and the costs that are associated with the pier or with the barge, not only or just the barge. When you're over the water, you got to deal with Coast Guard, you got to deal with all the other things, Florida Fish and Wildlife, you got to deal with all of that stuff. That's all part of the cost that's incorporated. It's not just the barge itself, because it's not just coming around. They've got to set up, so you're tying it up for quite a few days. So if there was some other way, and last year the town and volunteers from the island residents kicked in money to make it happen. Unfortunately, this year it's not feasible without some help, and because it is on a Friday and it's going to carry into the weekend, we do notice the hotels get filled, and we're not back to the full hotel scale yet, so we see a huge influx, as we saw all season, from people coming in from other municipalities that are staying off the island to come and enjoy the island for the day or spend the night at one of the resorts or one of the Airbnbs in the island. So we do feel that it's important to the Lee County Tourism to have it. We certainly don't want to cancel it. We're not happy about having to use a barge either, but it's the situation that we unfortunately have no way around.
I just bring it up as an alternative that, may or may not be depending on the company and what the distance you need, because, it's your call, obviously, but just try to save some money.
And Jeff, haven't we used that company before in the past?
Zambelli?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've used them a couple of times in the past, but this one, when we went out to bid, they were the most economical, we'll say.
Yeah, you may have a problem now with 4th of July because it gets so booked, but you have to sort of stay with your same guy. I just bring it up. Like I said, I'm not the expert on this stuff.
Any other questions? Bill?
How big of a land do you need if you wanted to do it on land?
I think I'd have to look. I honestly don't remember. I think it's
Bill,
500 feet or
the type of firework. It can't be the high end, it's more of the close in. So it's a different range. If you're doing what he's, what you have on the books, you probably need a longer deal.
I know it's not town land, but could you work something out with the county and do it at Bowditch? I mean, it's a lot of land there.
Actually, I think Bay Oaks is more land than there is at Bowditch.
I don't think there can be a structure in the way of a certain footage. There can't be any structures there.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think this is already tied into the other motion, so it's for legal, right? Yeah.
Any other municipalities to be heard? Okay, hearing none, we have a special presentation from Cynthia Welch at the Pine. Oh, we do have someone. I'm sorry. One more.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Anderson, City of Cape Coral.
I don't think they're asking for fireworks.
So I just want to catch you up a little bit about what we have had going on in the Cape. You can see the numbers of the various events. Tour de Cape was very successful in January. We had Cape Coral Bike Night, which was consistently very successful with 18,000 visitors. You're aware of the annual Burrowing Owl Festival. We had 2.4 thousand visitors. Music in the Arts Fusion Walk. That's been very successful as well. And then we had our Sounds of Jazz and Blues concert. Hopefully some of you joined. And our star of the show is our pickleball. You know that we rebranded to the Courts, our Lake Kennedy Pickleball and Racket Club. And we recently just had in March a PPA tour open, which saw a huge success. So much that the world champion of pickleball was here playing in our area and was beat out by a 16-year-old boy from Florida. So it was amazing. There was $350,000 in prize money, and there was a lot of media coverage online. There was a lot. It was live streamed as well, which is where you get a lot of those numbers. But we did have physically in the stadium or in the facility over 6,000 spectators. So it was a fantastic event, and this led to other contracts for the other tournaments. So in March, at the end of March, we also saw APP, and that's not to be confused with PPA. It's a different tournament that is the Collegiate Championships, and it was also streamed live on Pickleball TV. And if you've never heard of it, it's a big, it's a big online spectator station. So we saw that, and then we had over the course of that tournament about 1,000, almost 2,000 visitors coming in and out of there. A look ahead. Our Parks and Rec will host the final bike night of the season in South Cape. Please distribute that information. That's just around the corner. The event is free, and we have done a lot of work to try to make sure that that event is successful as well. Reworking security and other types of features to make sure that everybody is comfortable in that space, and also just as fun as before. April 11th, just I believe tomorrow, we also have another tournament at the Courts. This is the Florida Amateur Pickleball Championships. It's again by our partner Carvana PPA. And there's going to be 132 players to compete in that. And again, that's going to be also a media opportunity for the city. And then one just note, just because it's tourism related, the Chiquita Lock in Cape Coral is being removed as part of the South Spreader Waterway, as you probably have heard, and that's to improve water quality and flow. And that will be expected to be completed by June, so that will be a benefit for boat-related tourism. And of course, you know about our Cape Coral mural as a part of a wider regional project. The CRA became part of VCB's Neighborhood Mural Project last year. And in November, after the mural was revealed, we set the location as a tourist attraction on Google Maps. And as a result of that, in the past 5 months, we've seen 10 reviews, and it's gotten 4.9 stars. And almost 15,000 people have viewed the business profile predominantly on Google Maps from their mobile devices. This is just to tell you how people are actually visiting and getting the information about this mural project to them and sharing it as well. And then I just wanted to update you on 2 grant funding updates. The Yellow Fever Creek was a project that was funded last fiscal year. The boardwalk was designed and the contract has been awarded. You may, if you have any questions about that after, you're welcome to ask. Also, Crystal Lake Park. Our Parks and Rec plans to open the Crystal Lake Park this month. The park has a tourism aspect, of course, and our Parks and Rec has created an ambassador program to bring visitors to the environmental parks in the area. And Crystal Lake was one of those ambassador opportunities where there's going to be an assigned ambassador to that park. And then also the department will be working on partnering with the RV park 2 miles north to draw additional visitors. So there's a linkage there too. And we would like to highlight Gulf Coast Kayak. They've been voted #1 in outdoor activity in Cape Coral on TripAdvisor recently. And so we just want to share that business so that if you have your networks that are looking for this particular activity, they do guided tours, they do rentals, they have e-bikes, you name it, they have it. And they also do fishing trips in groups and also with children. So feel free to check them out as well. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other municipalities to be heard? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our special presentation. Cynthia Welch from the Pine Island Chamber.
Uh-oh.
So scary when the security alert comes up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come here today and tell you what's been going on out on Pine Island and what we have planned in the future. I'm Cynthia Welch. I'm the sole employee of the Chamber of Commerce. We're a small little operation, and I will keep you clued in as to what we're doing. So the Chamber of Commerce, like our friends out on Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach, we are limping along in our recovery, making great strides in some areas, struggling with others. So we are extremely grateful to the Board of County Commissioners who awarded us the $60,000 grant last April to help us with our promotions for our recovery from Hurricane Ian and our recovery efforts of 2023. To date, we have not spent all of the money, and you'll see why in a minute, but we have big plans for the next 3 months where we will use up the rest of the money that you gave us. So here's a quick recap of what we did April through September of 2024. Keeping in mind that we had no marketing plan in place prior to receiving the grant, as we had absolutely no money to do anything. So it took us a little while to get going, and with planning, getting the best bang for the buck, interviewing social media companies and everything. So late May, we did get going, and we launched a summer marketing campaign called Keeping It Local, focusing on the Fort Myers area with Florida Weekly Advertising, a social media campaign, and we also contracted with Wink TV to do a 3-month ad campaign through August. And I believe we have a shot of one of our commercials. Or not. Are you going to play the video now?
Step back to Old Florida for a day trip to Pine Island. Visit us today and see how far we've come. We are Pine Island proud.
So that's just a little snippet of one of the commercials that we did, just to give you an idea. In June, of course, our main access road was reduced to one lane onto the island as the repair of the second bridge started. This had the locals up in arms for delays getting on and off, and they were seriously against having any tourists coming out to the island at all. So we decided to keep going, but we took a cautious approach. And at that time, it was taking about half an hour to get onto the island. So we decided to shelve spending any other money other than our TV commercials until we got more towards the fall season and kind of saw how it all worked out. July, of course, our main focus was on Mango Mania, our tropical fruit festival, and we did create a video at that event to promote this year's one, which we're working on at the moment for July the 12th, in case you hadn't heard. Last year, we did back the traffic up, back as far as Bubba's, so they're on Pine Island Road. So as far as I was concerned, I had done a really fabulous job. As far as the locals were concerned, well, that was another story, so we'll just keep going on that one. We did have an estimate of about 2,200 people at the event, which was a little less than 2023, but considering our road situation and the reports of all the U-turns on Pine Island Road, we were pretty happy with how it all turned out. August, we did hire a social media company for the first time to help us with our presence, promoting our members and all of that sort of stuff. We had them on board for 7 months to produce some videos, to give us some tools to work with for future things. We then, of course, were working and focusing on a fall campaign, which we had all in place, and then it came to a screeching halt. Milton and Colleen very kindly paid us a visit we could have done without. So we put everything on hold. Our businesses were flooded again, one-lane road access, lengthy delays, the cleanup and construction crews, of course, compounding our traffic problems. So it really wasn't the time to encourage people to come out and see us for fear they might never come back again. So we put all of our marketing on hold at that time. We run one small ad in Florida Weekly, but that was about it. So everything has remained on hold until last Friday. Those of you that aren't aware, we went back to 2 lanes. It was a momentous day for us, so we're all very excited. And yeah, exactly. Now we do a little dance of joy. So we no longer have the hour-long drive for the 6 miles from one end of Pine Island Road to get out onto the island. However, in the meantime, while, before this we got going again, smaller campaigns did keep going, so we were able to utilize our funds with our social media company. We switched gears a little bit so that it was more hurricane recovery updates, businesses reopening and stuff like that. And we also used them to give, we had them as our guest speaker at our business breakfast that we do, using the topic was social media tools for your business, basically trying to encourage and educate our members as to how to use social media better, especially in dire times when we had no business. So that was good. Our Adopt a Dolphin auction, of course, which was scheduled for October, had to be cancelled due to the storm, but we were able to reschedule it when Tarpon Lodge was able to reopen, and it took place on November the 17th, expanded Facebook campaign and everything. So we were happy. We got about 150 people attended it. We raised over $7,500, which was actually higher attendance and net profit than the previous year. I think people were just happy to have some sort of fun activity going on. We did produce a video at the event, which we will be using to promote our future auctions, this one being Adopt a Pelican coming up in October. And we have the clip of the video that we produced just so you can see what the event is all about.
Pine Island.
I like the eye. Yeah, that's really neat.
I love this one.
I like that one too. Oh my gosh, which one do you pick?
was, we're going to use that video when we promote this year's auction in October. So going back to what we were working on, of course, at that time of year, we were starting to market our Stone Crab Fest, which originally was scheduled for November the 12th. Also had to be put on hold. The island was in no state to be dealing with an influx of visitors. We did reschedule it for January 26th. We did an expanded social media campaign. We had our social media company produce another video for us. I'm not going to show them all to you. So we have that for promoting the next one. Stone Crab Fest was well attended. We had about 2,500 people, which was actually only about half what we had the year before, but the time of year is really not conducive for doing the festival. I mean, it conflicts with football playoffs and all that sort of stuff, but we felt we needed to do the promotional opportunity for our businesses at that time anyway, so it was successful on that score. We were happy with the number of people that did come out to enjoy the day. So our 2024-25 season limped along with the one-lane road and rebuilding efforts. We did host Island Fest this March, which is our festival where we throw fish, because that's what we do out there. And despite lengthy delays getting onto the island, the expanded social media campaign produced about 1,200 people who, yeah, we've got a new record for all of those that care. Now it's 192 feet is the record of how far you can throw a fish out on Pine Island, so just so you know that. So moving forward, here's the plan. All our timing hinged on getting that two-lane road. That happened last Friday, so Monday morning, bright and early, we have put into play our plan we put out last fall. So basically, it has a number of aspects to it. We will be running an ad in Florida Weekly's Best of edition that's coming out. And we've changed the focus of our ads a little bit, that we've now included our painted pole project. So for those of you that don't know, April of 24, we revived our painting of the electric poles project, working in conjunction with LCEC. So to date, we have 120 poles that have been painted by the volunteer local artists, and there's still more coming. When we got to 100 poles, we started working on a flip book, which will be highlighting each completed pole, the artist, the location. It'll kind of work like a map of the island. It'll be a flip book on our website, which we're going to incorporate into all of our marketing moving forward. Come to the island, tour our poles will be our theme. We also hope to have a print version of the book available too as a souvenir item. So our marketing plan also includes more advertising in Florida Weekly in 4 areas: Fort Myers, Charlotte County, Naples, and Bonita Springs. And again, the focus is escape to Old Florida and tour the poles. We will be spending our tourism dollars from the county commissioners also on producing our off-island brochure. This is a brochure we do every year, but we usually have our members pay for marketing advertising in it, which pays for production and distribution. But this year we have decided that our county commissioners' money is much better spent, that we will use that. Our members will get the advertising for free. So that right now they need every bit of help they can get, and this is absolutely super, thanks to the county commissioners, that we can do that. So that'll come out. We're working on, we've just filled up the advertising spaces. We're figuring it out. In another week or so, it should be in production. We have some contracts with Inferno Rock Radio and Country Hit Now coming up, where we have 60-second commercials and live mentions, the opportunity for live feeds from our big events that we have with the 3 of them. And we're hoping to expand a little bit further with some other stuff as well. We have also submitted a request for additional funding moving forward so that we can continue what we've started and expand on what we've been able to achieve. So that's basically where we're at out on Pine Island. 2-lane road, please come and visit us. We need all the help we can get. And thank you for the opportunity of being here. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any questions? I can tell you, I, for one, and maybe Rob has done the same, have driven Pine Island Road just to drive Pine Island Road without stopping and waiting for a traffic light. So it is very good to have that bridge reopened. So I'll report.
Before I begin my report, I want to introduce a new VCB staff member. Brandon, will you please stand up? This is Brandon Leslie, and he's joined our visitor services team at RSW, and of course there he will be assisting with our volunteers and the traveling public. We borrowed? No, we co-opted Brandon from Steve's team. He worked for the Port Authority in terminal operations since 2021, where he was responsible for the airport terminal concession and concourse inspections, as well as working closely with the airport's customer service representatives. Prior to that time, he was in the Navy. He served 5 years on the USS, and I may say this wrong, Steve. Brandon, excuse me. You'll have to help me. Kearsarge, okay, and was deployed twice in support of overseas missions and 1 humanitarian mission to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. He has an associate's degree from the College of Albemarle in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and quite frankly, he was a member. He was an E-Awards nominee, and he has his guest first certification. Came to us with all those things in place, so it was almost as if he was part of our family to begin with. Apologies, Steve, but we're thrilled to have Brandon. So please welcome Brandon to our team. Speaking of which, in front of you, I have an updated organizational chart for the VCB. We've done a little bit of tweaking, and I poked holes in it so you can stick it in your TDC resource book and update it. No significant, not huge changes, but just some tweaks and some reporting, and I'll be mentioning a little bit of that as we go forward. But let's do bed tax. Since we didn't meet with you in March, we have both January and February. You'll see both months were increases, about 5.4 million in January, up almost 5%, and then in February, just over 6 million, an increase of about 6.4%. So for, as you'll recall, in the fall, we had some challenges with Hilton, as we refer to Helene and Milton combined. That impacted bed tax collection in the fall, took some rooms offline, but we are now on the positive side for the fiscal year. I'm happy to report that, but we'll see how things go as we move forward. Next, occupancy for January down about 5%, ADR down a bit, 1.4 for RevPAR, decline of 6.3%. And then in February, 78.6% on the occupancy, down about 1.1. Just down a smidge on ADR at 131, and RevPAR down about 1.5. So for the calendar year to date, with the 2 months combined, we are down about 2.5% on occupancy, down just a smidge on ADR, for a RevPAR decline of about 3%. And I think, some of this is we're injecting new product or reopened product in February and in January, and will continue to over the next few months, I believe, as we get some condo properties back online. So we're going to see some of these, some of these numbers fluctuate a bit. Key data for January, we saw a decline in occupancy for the month, 54.3%. This is vacation rentals, and then but an ADR increase, so a RevPAR increase there. And in February, a bigger decline in the occupancy for the vacation rentals, 12.2%. ADR, however, up. So for the calendar year to date, you see that 64.5% on occupancy and increase in ADR. I think, again, homes are on the market a little longer right now, and people are using vacation rentals as a way to subsidize some of their expenses if they've had to move out of the area or whatever it may be. So I think you're getting a lot more inventory online that's in fact affecting occupancy there. In terms of our hotel room update, I'm super excited about this. 82.7%. Sanibel, just under 50%. Very excited. And Fort Myers Beach, same thing, 49.4%. So definitely getting some of that coastal product back online. And I think, again, we'll continue to see those numbers creep, but we're getting to that point where it's new construction having to come online to build those numbers up. But we are at 12.64%. So 12,624 units online from a hotel room perspective. Traffic at the airport has been down a little bit. January down about 3.5%, and then February 4%. So for the 2 months combined for the calendar year, just under 4% decline. My last announcement before we go into staff reports is that we will be celebrating National Travel and Tourism Week, May 4th through 10th. We are going to have a proclamation before the Board of County Commissioners on Tuesday, April 15th at 9:30. TDC members, you should have a t-shirt in front of you. Staff invites you to join us as we go over to the commission meeting and have our proclamation read about the value of tourism to our citizens here in Lee County. And again, that's at 9:30 on the 15th. And we will also be having a Lighted Up Lee, as we did last year. We're going to light up buildings around the area in the blue color, and we are excited. Steve will relight the tower, and we've got some buildings downtown in Cape Coral that are going to participate. If anybody has a building that they can light up and wants to participate, let us know. We would love to have you join in on that, and we'll promote it as well. Okay. Now I'm going to ask Ray to come up and give us our communications report.
I learned a new term this month, the clicker. So, a friend of mine from Massachusetts came down and talked about the clicker. So I'll be using it now. Hey, good morning, Council. I'm Ray Saraceno. Since my last presentation, we've hosted 8.5 journalists from 4 countries in the destination. And the half a journalist was kind of a bum, but I'll get to who that was in a minute. Just to let you know, we're staying busy. We're ensuring national and international media are aware of all that we have to offer. So there's our little half a guy right there. He was a sweet baby, 4 months old. It was part of a French group, a French couple that were here covering the area, and they did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. We brought him out to the baseball game for the Partner Appreciation Night. We also had journalists recently from Germany, Dagmar Grutzek, who is part of representing America Journal, which is a publication that's kind of a fanzine for German visitors, and grateful to Visit Florida. Who was also a product of Visit Florida. And she is a RVer. So she's a very petite lady, yet she was running, I think, a 24-foot RV on her own and stayed down at Fort Myers Beach and did a great job. Spent a lot of time with us. Really enjoyed having her. So back in January on the left, we had a Canadian TV reporter named Jennifer Weatherhead, who focuses strictly on climate issues. No kidding. That's really her. But she was great. She was a lot of fun and really, really did a thorough job. Really good one, too, because it was video. So her husband is part of the video team. And we've got a lot of coverage in Canada from that. And
apologies, Ray.
That's
I guess
hey, I got it coming. This is karma. This is karma in action. So I'll try to be a little louder.
Walking away now. All three.
All right, here we go. They're doing their thing. So, anyway, continuing on, Jennifer Weatherhead did a bunch of TV shows, morning shows. She's a morning show person and has works with a lot of the TV stations in Canada, from the west to the east, and did a great job for us and actually returned some really good numbers. On the other side, the guy on the far right in the yellow, he is Steve Waters, and he's a stringer for Miami Herald and does a lot of great writing. We've worked with him in the past, and he came over here with Glenn Saper, who writes for New York Outdoor News. Again, so we took him out a few weeks ago, and that was just a small sampling. It was the craziest fishing day, just to give you the fishing stories. I don't usually fish. I have the pictures. I don't have them here. But that redfish, it was wonderful. It was a great catch and really good time. And we're looking forward for good coverage from them. Okay. As far as some of the stuff we're getting, domestic, we're getting a lot of coverage, a lot of good coverage, and a lot of long coverage. If you look at them, these are stories. There is one small mention, but for the most part, these stories aren't just listicles. They're actually good journalism products that kind of go in depth, which we really appreciate. So coverage, it's been a good, diverse range of publications as well. And our relationship with Visit Florida continues to pay dividends. If you look at this is from a group last year, late last year, from Columbia. And I think we talked about it last time a little bit. Visit Florida has been bringing Colombians and Brazilians up. And it's going really well. The program's gone really well. And the coverage, this is just a little sampling, but Columbia is very thorough. People who were up here had a great time, and it reflected in their coverage. We got a lot of great coverage out of Columbia, and we even talk a little bit about it in a bit, but we've got a Brazilian group coming at the end of this month as well. And again, some of the lists, some of the other items we have. Just on the far right, we're also getting a little bump in German coverage, and I just wanted to point that out there. Another good thing for us was the satellite media tour back in January, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the numbers are looking good. We've actually had a really good quarter. We're about 40% up from the last quarter. I didn't want to bombard you with numbers, but we're looking at about a 40% increase in coverage from what we had from October, November, December. And also the satellite media tour helped with we got about 98 million hits at last count. So that was a really huge number. And I feel like it was a great success, so much so that we're going to do it again in a few weeks. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But we're blasting away on our internal products as well. Our partner Spotlight recently recently worked on Doris and Steve Colgate on Offshore Sailing School. And we just released the Twin Sensory Room, which was a partnership. There was an idea from the county leadership, and the sensory room was actually implemented at Twin Stadium. And it's a cool place. If you watch the video, you'll see it's a really neat concept. And we actually had an interview with somebody who was a customer while I was there, and she was willing to talk to me about it and talk about the impact it had on her. So the Steve and Doris Colgate one, I have to admit my piloting skills for the drone sometimes leave a bit to be desired. So my drone is now a submarine in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere, but it did manage to, it broadcast a little handle, so I was able to get some good clips out of it. So the footage was awesome. The landing, I did not stick. So we'll leave it out there and work on my replacement. So a replacement drone, by the way, not replacement person, but... And again, just to mention Satellite Media Tour, we did it back in January, did it at Margaritaville, and it was a long day. We did 26 interviews to the tune of 3 to 5 minutes each, and the coverage was phenomenal. We did it in target markets. This time we're going to push target markets as well as drive market here in Florida and other states, adjacent states. But we expect really good results. The group we're working with, DS Simon Media, has been fantastic to work with. So we're going to do this one. We're actually recording it on May 28th out on Sanibel, but it's going to broadcast on June 20th, which is National Seashell Day. So we're looking forward to getting that one back up or get it up and running and get it out there. So we've got a busy month. We've had a few busy months, and we will continue to have busy months. Our dance card is pretty full for the next few months. We have a Brazilian group coming, like I said, at the end of the month, or toward the end of the month. We're hosting domestic media. I want to give a special shout out to Tarpon Lodge for hosting the Aglow Media Camp, the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers who are coming. It's a good group, and it's something we're starting to focus on a little bit, as you saw from the fishing, is outdoor writers and trying to ensure that people are aware, as far and wide, tell the story of what sort of outdoor activities we have available, particularly fishing. And at the end of May, we have the UK Media Visit, which is a large group coming from the UK from our contractor there. And it's always a challenge, but always a great time, and always has resulted lately in just fantastic coverage. So, pending any questions, that's my presentation.
Thank you, Ray. Any questions for Ray? All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to tag out to Jill.
Now we're going to have Jill and Charm give the sales update. Start with Jill.
Good morning, Council. I'm Jill Vance, Director of Sales, and here's a recap of the first 6 months of this fiscal year's sales goals. As you can see, we are behind pace for RFP room nights that we have sourced to our hotel partners. Several of our association and nonprofit meeting planners have told us that they are slowing down on sourcing new meetings for now. Because of the evolving political and economic landscape, they have funding cutback concerns for the future. So, of course, we will keep a close eye on this and hope that it does not become a trend. I do want to point out, however, that we are close to pace for the RFP room nights being booked by our hotel partners. So although the volume of the RFP sourced is down, this shows that we are sending good quality leads that are bookable and valuable to our hotels. And thankfully, we are close to pace for the remaining goals. Here are some of the group sales team's activities for last quarter. First, I want to give a big thank you to our industry partners who helped us deliver an incredible destination experience at our Northeast Meeting Planner FAM. We hosted 6 meeting planners, and I'd like to read some of their comments. The first one is from Michelle Taunton, who is the Director of Global Accounts with Helms Briscoe, and she says, "Loved it. I can't wait to recommend the area to my clients. I was particularly surprised to see that the airlift is much better and more extensive than I expected." Also with Helms Briscoe, Debbie Bang wrote, "Everything was absolutely perfect. Betsy and Natalie made sure that we were extremely comfortable and well taken care of. They paid attention to every little detail. This is hands down one of the best and most organized FAM trips I've ever been on. I walked away feeling much more knowledgeable and confident about the destination and its top resorts hotels." And I've also included in there one of Debbie's social media posts on LinkedIn. And just a few weeks after our FAM, Debbie booked 2 meetings in our destination for 2026, totaling over 1,600 room nights. And of course, we'd love to see immediate results like that. For our meeting planner shows, I just want to highlight one. In February, Erin and Natalie attended the Visit Florida Encounter Show, which is Florida's premier hosted planner trade show. There were about 150 meeting planners in attendance, and Erin met one-on-one with qualified planners who often have business for Florida. We attended with 5 of our hotel partners, and the VCB supplied plush carpeting and palm trees, which gave a nice cohesive look to our destination's area at the show. We also sponsored the hydration station, servicing both the Florida Encounter and the Florida Huddle shows. So far, 9 RFPs with almost 4,000 room nights were sent to our hotel partners from this show. Some travel trade activities for last quarter. Here's Jennifer at 4 different travel and adventure shows. And for those of you who don't know, these are consumer shows with a travel advisor component. Attendees for all 4 of the shows, all 4 of the consumer shows, totaled almost 77,000 potential travelers. We also participated in their Travel Advisor Passport program at each show, which is a one-day program designed specifically for pre-qualified travel advisors, and we were one of only 12 exclusive vendors selected to participate. This program gave Jennifer the opportunity to speak personally to a total of over 800 travel advisors. Some upcoming activities for the domestic sales team. For April, I just want to highlight that Jennifer will be conducting the East Coast Florida Travel Agency Sales Mission and Client Event with 5 of our industry partners. They will make sales calls to about 40 travel agencies and AAA offices from West Palm Beach to Miami. And we'll also host a destination education luncheon, which is a great way to meet face-to-face with the home-based travel advisors. And for May, Jennifer will be attending the American Society of Travel Advisors, also known as the ASTA Travel Advisor Conference. This 3-day conference features educational sessions and certification testing, a robust trade show, and evening networking opportunities. And this is a new show for us, so we're really looking forward to the results. And finally, for June, Betsy and Lauren will divide and conquer at the Helms-Briscoe Annual Business Conference. Helms-Briscoe is our #1 producing third-party meeting planning organization. This is a 2-day reverse trade show with over 1,300 attendees. And our marketing team will also geofence this show and deliver display ads during the conference and for 1 month following the conference. Last year, 34 RFPs totaling over 11,000 room nights were sent to our hotel partners, resulting from this show. So I have some great news. Our very own Erin Lester was one of the winners of the 2025 Smart Women in Meetings Award. She and her fellow award recipients will be honored at the Smart Women Summit in September. And it works out well that it's in September because she's a little busy right now because we have a new baby in our VCB family. Erin had her baby on March 15th. His name is Brody Thomas Lester, and he's perfect. Mother, father, big brother, and baby are all doing fine. And before I turn it over to Charm, I do want to let you know that this is my last TDC presentation because I am retiring in mid-May. So it's been an absolute joy and honor to serve Lee County. So it's been a joy and honor to serve Lee County and our hospitality community. But now it's time to spend time with my granddaughters before it's not cool to be with grandma anymore. So thank you to all of you for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you, Jill.
Jill, we're not clapping because you're retiring. We're clapping because we're so grateful for everything that you've done. Thank you.
Good morning, Charm Evans, BCB Global Sales Manager, reporting on the international sales activities for January through March. I'd like to give you a quick update on what we're seeing in terms of international travel to Lee County. And as you know, things are constantly changing, and our team is staying on top of those latest developments. We're keeping an eye on the market sentiment and working closely with our international teams, trade partners, and the Lee County Port Authority to stay informed. Recently, the Port Authority shared that Air Canada has made a slight adjustment by reducing their seat capacity by 40 seats, which is not a major change from what was already originally planned. Tour operators have also mentioned that while they haven't seen any cancellations, they are noticing fewer inquiries about Florida. And we've also seen a bit of a decrease in international website visits, primarily from Canada. And while those number of visits to our website have been low, their engagement time on the site is actually longer. So with that, we're monitoring closely, but we haven't made any big adjustments to our international marketing plans just yet, with the exception of pulling back slightly on our social media activities. For now, we're staying committed to our key markets and will continue to reassess our strategies as things develop. We're still actively involved in our marketing initiatives, consumer events, and travel trade activities to keep Lee County top of mind for the international visitors. Some of these activities include Visit Florida's annual Florida Huddle International Trade Event, where we conducted 42 one-on-one appointments with international and receptive tour operators, airlines, and online travel agents. This year, we were joined by the Westin Cape Coral and the Pink Shell Beach Resorts. In March, we attended ITB Berlin in Germany, and this is one of the largest global B2B travel trade shows. We held 40 meetings with travel trade and media, conducted a radio and TV interview, and we hosted our annual Discover Airlines dinner in partnership with the Port Authority in Collier County, CVB. Through that collaboration, we aim to increase our demand for the RSW flights through sales and marketing efforts. Some of the discussions that were held around ITB and Huddle focused on those marketing initiatives, current sentiment, and the outlook for fall 2025. Also in March, we conducted a sales activation at the Twickenham Alliance Arena in London over the weekend of March 22nd and 23rd, where we converted 2 paddleball courts into pickleball courts. Our area was so popular that a 3rd court was created overnight to reduce the wait times. Overall, for the entire weekend, there were 14,000 attendees that came to this inaugural event. And during that same weekend, we also participated in Visit Florida's UK sales mission, where there was agent trainings in 2 different cities and a client appreciation event on the last night. And I wanted to thank the Sundial Beach Resort and Spa for providing a 2-night voucher during that event that was given away by Visit Florida. Looking ahead, we are participating in various events throughout our key markets, and we're also bringing a German fam into the area in partnership with the Bradenton CVB in Visit Florida. And finally, in June, we will also be participating in U.S. Travel Association's IPW that takes place in Chicago. And this is another large consumer or large appointment-based trade event for international buyers. And we'll have journalists in travel trade from over 70 countries. That concludes my report. Do you have any questions?
I mean, I'm not surprised with the Canada numbers. I mean, that they just came out with Canada to the U.S. right now is projected to be 40% down.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, some challenges there. I think we have a bit of an advantage. You know, we're a winter business, right? You know, this current, you know, trade battle issue, hopefully will settle down a little bit, and you know, we'll get things back on track before we get our Germans coming. I mean, excuse me, our Canadians coming back in the winter months. We've had a lot of internal discussions about, you know, how we look at this, but I'm not as concerned about what happens from May through October as I am what happens October through April, right? You know, with that market in mind. I'm not talking about all markets. I'm talking about Canadian, but specifically.
For the next fiscal year, our marketing might be a little bit different than
Correct.
The international side.
Correct. We may look at things a little bit differently. But at this point, we're not making any changes to what we've done for this fiscal year. I think we're on track. We feel confident. And, you know, our job is to find the people who are interested in traveling here. That's the assignment, and we understand that.
If I may, Tam, what we're also hearing too, primarily from Canada, is they understand and know what's going on, but they said that if we can show them just a little bit more love, like offering them little add-ons and different additions, that's the things that they're looking for and that they will gravitate towards.
I thought we offered them the 52nd state. Didn't go over well, I don't think. No.
I always say just turn that around the other way. How does that feel, right?
For what it's worth, we had 2 Canadian groups that didn't cancel. We saw one last week for 50 people that kept their plans regardless of what's going on politically.
I think, again, they're happy to escape the cold weather to our warm weather in the winter months, and I'm feeling fairly confident about the experience they have here in our community. So
I agree. I just think it'll be time before you'll see that market come fully back.
And the exchange rate, right? I mean, you know, we're challenged in a lot of ways, not just, you know, I always say it's multiple items that affect these markets, but you know, the last thing I want to do is not be present when, you know, it's such an important market to us.
Sure.
With that said, thank you, Charm. I appreciate it. We'll ask Simone to come up and give her visitor services report.
Good morning, Council. Simone Baer, Director of Visitor Services. Happy to report on Visitor Services for the second quarter. This is obviously January through March. During that time period, our volunteers assisted 348,005 visitors and residents. They worked 10,096 hours at a value to the county of $321,053. They assisted at 6 different conferences and special projects. So the 348,000 number that I just told you about, that is a record number of visitors and residents that our volunteers assisted at RSW. They loved every minute of it. It's been a really fun, busy season, especially with all the construction happening. So we've been on our toes. The top requests during that time period for accommodations, hotels are all in the airport area. It's the Drury Inn, Crown Plaza, and Courtyard by Marriott. The top attractions that people ask about, are, aside from the beaches, is the Edison Fort Winter Estates, Sting Darling, and Manatee Park. Top activities were baseball, shelling, and fishing. Our volunteers assisted at various community and partner support events such as Art Fest Fort Myers, the Florida Interscholastic Cycling League at Caloosahatchee Regional Park, various Savannah Bananas games at JetBlue Park, 2 conferences at Calusa Sound Convention Center, a Breeze inaugural flight coming in from South Bend, and we've rolled out Project Cookie. During the spring training games, as you all know, we have visitor information booths, 1 at each stadium, and volunteers covered that booth for every home game and really enjoyed engaging with people talking about our beautiful destination. We also attended various destination education training sessions to the Sanibel Historical Museum and Big Art, Sanibel, Lee County Solid Waste, Homewood Suites by Hilton Bonita, and attended 2 games, Red Sox and Twins. So a big thank you to our hosts for hosting our volunteers as they get to know our destination even better. Looking ahead, and this is a really big deal because this year is the 25th anniversary of the Elaine McLaughlin Outstanding Hospitality Service Awards, the E-Awards. It will take place August 22nd at Calusa Sound Convention Center. We are open for nominations at eawards.org and hope that all of you can be there to help us celebrate our outstanding hospitality employees. And also I just want to say thank you for those of you who joined us last Friday at our annual appreciation luncheon for our volunteers. We appreciate your support. And that's it for me, unless there is any questions.
Thank you, Simone. Appreciate your presentation. With that, I want to invite L.A. Thompson up to present to you. Leslie Ann is part of one of the changes you see on the org chart. Leslie Ann has been promoted to marketing director, and we are very happy to have her present to us today.
Good morning, Council. As Tom said, I'm Leslie Ann Thompson, the VCB's new marketing director. Today I'm going to share highlights of projects my team and I have been working on in collaboration with MMGY Global, our advertising agency. Now, it's a lot of work, so it's going to be a lot to go over in a short period of time, so just bear with me. First, I'll show you some recent wins implemented January through March, and then I'll give you a preview of upcoming plans and programs that are set up to positively impact our summer business. So let's get started. The 2025 Visitor Guide launched in early January with a new design and editorial features. Our award-winning digital format includes more video and inspirational storytelling and continues to give us the flexibility to update information as businesses reopen. In late January, we participated in a 3-day statewide sale coordinated by Visit Florida on Hopper, which is an online travel agency like Expedia and Booking.com. As a title DMO sponsor, our investment subsidized a 50% offer for our area hotels. The promotion included a custom microsite, emails targeting highly qualified shoppers, and a custom video promoting the sale. Let me show you what that looked like.
Before you book a trip to Florida, make sure you know about this. From January 22nd through 24th, Hopper is having a sale on all Florida hotels. Every hotel is at least 20% off, with extra discounts up to 50% off in certain cities like Fort Myers. Do not miss out. This is the best time to book your spring break or summer vacation or winter getaway trip. Just tap the link to get access to insane savings on your Florida vacation.
As you can see from the slide, it did really well. We got 5.8 million impressions, 177 room nights were booked, and a little under 300 flight passengers. Overall, that represented $130,000 in travel sales. Brown shared initial elements of our Just Feels Right campaign at the last TDC in January. That our full media, mixed media campaign has now launched. As a quick reminder, the campaign is based on these 5 feelings and the insights around finding moments where they can let go of everyday stresses and prioritize their well-being. Because when you reclaim your sense of being present, you can follow what feels right. You've already seen examples of print, digital, and outdoor creative. So today I'm going to share our new brand spots with you. Each spot represents one of the feelings and targets a specific audience. We made them 15 seconds to align with how people are consuming content these days, and we also added humor, which always helps with recall. I will share them with you now. Let's start with playful.
Our favorite thing about Fort Myers, it really expands our horizons.
Very eye-opening. All right, the next one coming up is relaxed, and this targets our solo traveler. Can we turn the volume up just a little bit, guys? Thanks.
What brings me to Fort Myers? Just a little R&R. Yeah, just chilling.
This next one is connected.
Why Fort Myers? We just don't connect like this anywhere else.
Are you tickling my feet?
Things get pretty steamy.
Okay, and the next 2 are family focused.
What do I love about Fort Myers? I don't know. Whoa! I know. It's this.
Why do we love Fort Myers? Well, we're pretty adventurous. Oh, wow, this is amazing. Yep, wild and crazy.
Hope you like them. The spots are running on connected TV, on vendors like Amazon and Samsung, and they're also on platforms like Expedia and TripAdvisor. And placements vary by season, but for April through July, we'll be on in our primary feeder markets and in our drive markets. Now I'll share a few other wins. We recently hosted Travel Zoo's senior travel editor over in Sanibel, where we did a live broadcast. This happened in February when it was really, really cold up north. So Gabe did segments varying in length from 3 to 5 minutes across 27 stations over a 4 to 5 hour window. And we seamlessly integrated B-roll footage with the live coverage to showcase our destination's recovery. I'll show you an example of what one segment looked like. Now, I will say it's a little long. I edited it, but I wanted you to get a sense of the full, the robust example of how we approach these buys.
Was just in the Sunshine State last week, and we just showed you beach getaways are the top vacation choice for 2025. One of those top destinations, Florida, of course. Travel guide Gabe Saglier joining us live this morning on the shores of Sanibel Island near famous Fort Myers, where peak travel season is already in full swing. You know, we're just a little jealous up here in the other peninsula, Gabe. We've been in the teens, 20s, and I bet it's a lot nicer down there.
I know.
I was checking out the forecast. We're about 50, 60 degrees warmer out here, Matt. That's why I've got a spot for you on the beach as we speak. Come on down here.
Oh, it's looking great. So you're on Florida's Gulf Coast, a crowd favorite, but also an area that's back open for business after recent hurricanes and storms, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years. I mean, Hurricane Ian delivered a wallop back in 2022. It was an active season last fall, of course. But here's the good news. This is really a story about rebound, about coming back. And all of these beaches are now open. All of these businesses, we're at the Sundial Resort this morning here on Sanibel Island. All of the restaurants, the galleries, they're back online, ready for spring breakers, ready for the summer traveler out here. So, yes, this is a rebound story in a big way after a challenging couple of years, to be sure.
Yes, and you month beat those beautiful white sandy beaches.
Just how much of that sand there is. You're here at the Sundial Resort, which opened just this month after a 28-month revamp, and it's looking great. A 1-mile stretch of white sand beach, and then Sanibel Island itself, 15-plus miles of this wonderful hard-packed white sand. Great to do that morning sunrise walk, catch the sunset at the end of the day, frolic in between.
Oh, yes, it is just beautiful. And, of course, there's some glitzier parts of the state, but really it seems like there's just a more laid-back vibe there along the Gulf.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, this is an area, keep in mind, Matt, that was established back in the 1870s, 1880s, well before the high rises of South Florida, before those theme parks, right? So it maintains this very relaxed, chill vibe. There's some wonderful cultural hotspots. You're looking at video of the Thomas Edison, Henry Ford Winter Estates, established 130 years ago. They're now tourist attractions, 20-plus acres of botanical gardens and wonderful historic buildings and artifacts.
Now, before we let you go here, any other favorite events on the 2025 calendar we should know about?
Yeah, listen, a lot of events. Right now, it's all about spring training, so a lot of baseball fans out here as we speak. That's getting in full swing just this weekend, as a matter of fact. I might be coming back in September. You might want to join me. This is the return of what USA Today last year called the 4th best music festival in the country. It's the Island Hoppers Songwriter Fest. So think about 10 days, 80-plus regional local musicians, free to attend, concerts on boats and on the beach and on beachside bars. This is just a really cool way of tap into that Fort Myers, Sanibel Island vibe, listen to some great music, enjoy some great food, great...
Okay, so I paused it there, but you got an idea of how much we can cover in one spot. We also have integrated packages running with New York Times and Condé Nast Traveler, but I'll just share a quick example here of one we have with a new vendor called Tastemade. Their package included 2 travel checklist episode videos for social, newsletter mention, and an interactive promo map for their platform, where we were able to showcase partners like Sugar Shack and some Fort Myers Beach locations as well. In terms of local initiatives, here are a few. The Sanibel Wild Mile Pass recently launched in partnership with the VCB and 4 of our local nonprofits. It encourages both visitors and residents alike to check in at each location to earn points and prizes. The Parks, Points and Perks Pass is also coming soon. This is a joint effort between the VCB and the Lee County Parks and Recreation Department. Again, it will be another exciting way for visitors to explore our parks, beaches, and preserves while earning awesome rewards. We don't always get to share our social media wins here, but I wanted to highlight one of our recent influencer partnerships. Sarah Finney, a Florida-based influencer from Sarah's Outdoor Adventures, reached out to tell us she had planned a trip to Cabbage Key and she wanted to partner with us. We vetted her and contracted her to do 3 posts. Well, not only did she do 3 posts, she did 38. And she went to visit other places like Edison Ford Winter Estates and Timberline Camping. For added value, she also mentioned us on air in a segment on Tampa Bay's CBS affiliate WTSP. This shows the power of making connections and the magic that can happen when we have partners who never hesitate to say yes when we reach out. So thank you to all our wonderful partners, and thank you, Rob, thank you, Lisa, particularly for this collaboration. Okay, now, so let's talk about what's next, upcoming plans and programs. We're in the process of fine-tuning a new homepage feature for our website, which we're calling Website Concierge. Visitors to our site will be asked the question, who are you traveling with? And based on their answers, the page is instantly refreshed to deliver personalized content that inspires them to choose our destination and helps them plan their trip. This will lead to a more tailored experience for our site visitors, and it will also help us collect valuable data on web usage that will inform future decisions. Also launching next week and running through to September will be our first of its kind mega campaign. This integrated effort combines inspiration messaging at the first phase of the consumer journey with a booking mechanism to help cement the trip decision at what we like to call conversion. It brings together the power of .dath Merdish and VRBO. In addition to spreads in the 3 different titles, key placements also include a custom landing page on Midwest living and social content to promote things to do in our area. Users will select their ideal vacation experiences across relaxed, adventurous, connected, and curious categories, or by neighborhood, which then leads them to interactive story pages aligned with those interests. Or they can click on specific neighborhoods that lead them to more information on that area. We featured Cape Coral here, Fort Myers, Kiefer Sanibel, and Bonita Springs. Other ads and social posts will guide them to a traveler's hub on Verbo for a shoppable experience. Property recommendations are based on audience categories like family-friendly, couples getaway, and beachfront, etc. We'll also have social amplification through video and an Expedia ambassador influencer. Following our successful promotion earlier this year with Hopper, we'll run another hotel discount for stays July through August. For this one, Hopper will start with a 35% discount for hotels and adjust the percentage dynamically from there. We will also seek to drive additional bookings with hotel promotion on Expedia using travel intent targeting. There are also plans to offer a tiered sponsorship opportunities via co-op. Now, this co-op will be separate from the VCB's co-op. Expedia will actually reach out to the partners for this co-op opportunity. Starting in May, we'll run phase 1 of our Just Feels Right campaign with extensions to influence late summer and fall visitation. The idea is to secure out-of-home placements that are unique and meet our audience right where they want to be. Our ads will be seen on bike shares and digital panels in Chicago that are at street level throughout the downtown loop. We'll also be on bike share posters and docking station wraps in New York City. And in South Florida, our ads will be on digital billboards, a digital wallscape and kiosks at City Place Doral, and on digital boards on the busy I-395 and I-595 highways. With our new nonstop flights on Avelo and Breeze, Raleigh-Durham is an emerging market for us. So Just Feels Right will be on a video wall at the airport along their TSA security checkpoint in Terminal 1, where both these airlines operate out of. And to rev things up a bit even further, we'll work with a vendor called Carvatize in that city as well to wrap 11 rideshare cars with an emphasis on routes to and from their airport. These cars will also be visible at select festival, food, and holiday events that align with interests of our target audience. The final tactic I want to share with you today is one I'm really super excited about. It's a cool interactive video placement that we have planned with a vendor called Atmosphere TV, and it will be targeting families. This custom unit features trivia questions with fun facts about our area. Does anybody know the answer to this question? Anybody? Okay, it's a bowl. Answer is C. So people, while they're eating at restaurants and different venues, will be able to learn quick facts about our area. So in summary, as you know, we invest the largest percentage of our budget to positively impact summer travel, and this year is no different. In total, our combined efforts will yield just over 310 million in paid impressions for the summer season. And that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Questions for LA?
Thank you.
Thank you, Tam.
All right.
Moving on to new business. Mike Campbell and Nancy McPhee have beach and shoreline project updates. Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe? No, Nancy's trying to get our...
I don't think she heard you.
Nancy, you're up.
Mike, go in first?
Okay. Sorry I wasn't loud enough. Let me try again.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I just want to give you a brief update on what we have in terms of beaches right now. So I'm going to go down from north to south, Gasparilla Island. We obviously took a bunch of hits there from Milton and everything. That's an Army Corps project. We're still waiting and working with the Army Corps to develop exactly what they need us to provide them to move forward with that, with the same funding agreements that we had in the past. And this is from the latest updates that we have. That's going to be September 2026 start date. As of yesterday, when I talked to our project manager from here. So that's all the information that I have. And to be honest, it changes so much that maybe next time I'll tell you a different story. But that's the latest information that I have on that in terms of that core project for Gasparilla Island. You can see what happened there. Obviously, there was a lot of sand thrown up. It was okay in the areas that did not have a seawall. The areas that did have a seawall, there was a lot more washout and stuff like that, as you can see. So until we get more information from the Corps and new legislation, we're just waiting on them, but we are ready to go and do whatever they ask us to do. We just need that direction from them before we can move forward on that. Captiva Island, been working with them. They've had a project that they bid out for a couple of times for various time frames. And as far as now, from the latest information that I have, I believe that they're planning on starting their project in August, which is their time frame. They have a 90-day time period on that. It's close to 1 million cubic yards that they will be placing on Captiva Island. They've got state grants associated with that, as well as working currently with Lee County staff. As of last Tuesday, the commissioners had asked us to work on an interlocal agreement with them, a funding agreement that has not been it's not completed yet, but we'll get that through and decide how that's going to work out for their August start date. I've got a couple pictures of, this is Allison Hagerup Park that was obviously disrupted by the storm. It's a new thing from there. So there's not much information other than that. The town of Fort Myers Beach. So they started their project a long time ago, their beach restoration project. They ran into a lot of delays, weather delays, also equipment delays associated with their contractor. They've been working down. They're expected at this point to be done by May 1st was the information that I got this morning. So that project has run into a little bit of problems from weather and other associated things. It went all the way from the north end, where the last county project had started from the north end of the island all the way down to Lynn Hall. And I believe that they're working on the south end now and then going to finish up the central section by May, according to their project manager down there. Lovers Key and Bonita Beach, This was kind of an interesting thing. We have a cycle for Lovers Key and Bonita Beach. We had a rough time after Ian there, where we had cut throughs on the front side of Lovers Key especially, removed all their concessions. If anybody was familiar with that, their concessions that they had down there on the beach, the restrooms, all those things. Even the pedestrian walkway that walked over was washed out at the bottom. And the beach was severely affected by those storms. I'm going to go ahead and lump into Bonita Beach as well. Bonita Beach also had the same sort of effect. I do believe that Steve Boutel told you guys this at the last meeting in December. So from that, we have the north section of the island from what is Access 10 or Little Hickory Beach Park all the way up to the very north end of that island is what we have traditionally as a beach project, which is critically eroded. That's part of what we did there. But we hired Weeks Marine that came in. So, in my opinion, based on their performance, it was a very good company that we worked with. We were working very much offshore. This is Lovers Key now. I imagine that you all have seen the older pictures where there was no beach at all in front of the pedestrian bridge, if you can see that on the left side going there. Prior to that, there was also a pavilion and other things. It's about 200 feet of beach there that we've put. We also have enhanced dunes that we're going to install there with plantings that are anticipated to be put in right before the rainy season. So they'll have the best chance of being successful and surviving into the future. This is looking north, also on Lovers Key, almost to the end of the project. I wanted to put this in there to kind of show you how that works. We've got our hydraulic pipeline going down the beach. You see the walkovers that our contractor has provided for the public to be able to walk over the pipeline and still have access to the waterfront there. And at the end, that's where we're pumping the sand and finishing off that beach project. This is the north end of Bonita. This is the finished project of Bonita. You can see the lines in the sand. They're not always going to look like that. This is just when we completed. So we have a permit requirement that we have to till that right afterwards for turtle regulations and stuff like that, to make sure that the sand is not enough to affect turtles being able to lay their eggs and those things. So that's why you see that. It doesn't look like that now. It looks very, very natural and nice. But you can see the amount. I don't have the picture beforehand, but all of the water was basically to the buildings there. That's the south end. So this is right above where we are at, like I said, at Access 10. And that's the Lee County Public Access looking south. We coordinated also with the city of Bonita Springs that we allow them to piggyback on our contract to help them do a one-time project that they got funding for from the state of Florida. and have that down there, or have that south. You can see where ours ends and then how it goes around. They did not have the same width requirements, or not width accommodations that we had. Also, with that, there's a little bit of difference because the northern end is classified as critically eroded by the state of Florida. The southern end is not. So we don't really have an area to work with where we're defining that south. We also had to get, the city of Bonita Springs had to get easements for that area. They were successful in getting a lot of those and unsuccessful in getting some, which made it logistically extremely difficult to work with. For all of our beach projects that we have, we will have to, if we have to enter somebody's property, we'll have to get easements, and in some cases with county projects, temporary construction easements to be able to enter their property and allow us to do that work. To do that with federal projects, it's a little bit more difficult to do that because their requirements are a little bit more stringent. But this was new to that section of the island because it's not classified as critically eroded. So this was a one-time thing that was done, that was allocated to them by the governor, and they're not used to that. The north end of the island, they understand that when we come in, ask for easements, we give them sand, and then they're very excited about it. So it's easy. This was the first time that we had to engage that part of the community, and there was a little bit of hesitancy from the people because they had just never heard of it before and they didn't know what to do, which makes our job a little bit difficult because when you're trying to do those type of projects, if you have to skip an entire property, it's logistically it's hard to do that when you're building a beach in the way that we did. A couple of the other things that I would like to say about that is in terms of the money that we've done with that, we always try to maintain a certain level of values from the TDC that we put into our long-term beach management fund, and we have grants that we have from DEP through their annual process. In the past year, the legislature put out a one-time $40 million first come, first serve grant process for the entire state of Florida for beach projects. And luckily for us, and I have to say it, for natural resources and everybody that was working with the beaches, out of the $40 million that the governor allocated for the entire state of Florida, Lee County acquired $20 million of that to offset the cost. So that was really nice. Yeah. So thanks for our fiscal staff for taking advantage of that, but that was a great thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Nancy?
Thank you. To follow up with Mike, I just wanted to say thank you to him and Steve and the Natural Resources team for all the work they do on these beaches, our number one asset, right? So one of the most important jobs that you do as the Tourist Development Council is review funding requests. So last week you were provided with access to review the requests for next fiscal year. Very important job, and we really appreciate the time you put in. So this is in preparation for your workshop next Wednesday, right here at 2 o'clock. We will meet as the TDC to conduct the annual Beach and Shoreline Workshop. So the memo that you received included information that will help you do your review. There were 28 requests submitted, a record for this program. 4 of them were ineligible for funding, per the county attorney, and a few of them had portions ineligible. So it's important to look at the spreadsheet once you begin your review. The total eligible funding request for next fiscal year through the Beach and Shoreline Program is $29,155,238. Again, a record for this program. The estimated funding based on the 26.4% that the Beach and Shoreline receives each year, and this is a projection, is $12.5 million. So we have our work cut out for us. Rob?
Yeah, it looked like the maintenance, I added this up right, I added it up quick, was $11,920,000 of the $12 million. So I don't know if a discussion should be had before that meeting, because essentially we're going to have no money to fund any new capital projects, and there's some really important ones on there. I noticed that the pier is on there, for instance, things like that. We won't even be able to, I don't even know, it'll be hard to figure out how you'll fund projects that have already been funded and are like going to be coming back for year 2 and 3 in that meeting. So I'm highly concerned about it. I don't know if there needs to be an advanced discussion about how much reserves may go to some of these projects before we all get a chance to sit down and talk.
Well,
Funny you mention that.
funny you mention that, because I am going to share some reserve numbers with you. As of the moment, about $54 million in reserves. So obviously, as you have done in the past, you may make a recommendation to the board. The TDC may choose to make a recommendation to the board that they consider funding projects from reserves. But we are finally getting to the point where the municipalities and the county know what their FEMA reimbursement's going to be and are ready to move these projects forward to get our beaches back in shape. And so that's why you're seeing so much of this. Of course, you have a lot of other large projects on the table in addition to those. Some of those are not traditional beach and shoreline projects, but could qualify under the nature parks or nature facility components. So you're going to have some tough decisions to make for sure. But I remind you, there have been times in the past where where the TDC has asked the board to consider funding projects from reserves if they deem them something that should be moving forward. I believe Nancy's been really clear with the applicants to say that these need to be ready-to-go projects. We're not setting aside money that's going to be sitting there for 3 years. They need to be ready to go. And, you'll be able to vet that process as you review these as well. But
so the link at the bottom of the memo you were sent this last week will bring you to the Dropbox where all of the materials are. Those 28 requests, you can read each of them. The county staff and the county attorney may have requested clarification on some pieces. That clarification is also inside the Dropbox. The first document that I have up now is the review worksheet that we typically. The first column is what's requested. The second column is ineligible portions or perhaps the whole amount. And then the third column is the beach and shoreline eligible, that $29.1 million. The next column is that column that last year was new to us during this process, other tourism assets, many of them nature related. So there is several projects, I believe 7, that could be funded out of that portion of the statute, but not the beach and shoreline program. So again, that would be a reserve poll. So this is the working document that we'll use next week during the workshop. To back it up, we have the county attorney's determinations from a legal aspect, as well as Coastal Advisory Council's comments on each project. So please take advantage of reviewing this document. Some of the projects, as you'll remember, will need a legislative finding, and we'll do that in May at your next meeting. And the final document I feel is pretty important is the active projects, the projects that are out there. You've already funded these, but they're still active. They're not complete yet. I've highlighted in yellow those projects that have asked for additional funding for next fiscal year. The project status is all the way over on the right. It's important to see what their timeline is, what their anticipated completion date on those projects is before we award new funding. So these are the documents that we've prepared for you. We work closely with all of our coastal partners on getting this information on a regular basis so that you have it during your review. But hopefully we've given you everything you need. And Rob, I'm sure that will come up in discussion about the reserves next week. So next week you're just going to discuss and make funding recommendations for next fiscal year, and you'll formalize them at your May meeting. There won't be any action next week, so it's just a workshop. So unless there's questions, I didn't want to.
Nancy, if I'm looking at it right, I just want to make sure it goes on record. We have spent over $100 million on our beaches from the TDC and the TDT taxes that we collect as a county that directly benefits our residents. Am I reading that right? So the hotel industry, the tourism industry has given over $100 million of value on our beaches over since this program's been in place.
I can define that, clarify that number for you. Where are you seeing that number, Rob?
I'm taking all the, if you look at the sheets that you have.
The status document?
And I just took the big beach ones, the town.
Right.
Fort Myers Beach, is at 11 million.
So that's active.
I combined them all together.
That's funding that's been encumbered and is
Correct.
available for use right now. The total through Beach and Shoreline, I believe, is more like $870 million since the program inception, the beginning of the program. These are active, and this is encumbered funds.
I just think we need to share that number, and I'm going to speak about it now, probably again at council when we get to TDC member items. But the House Bill 1221 that's currently being discussed by our legislation would end the TDT taxes that we're collecting here and put it to a referendum every 8 years. So it would highly recommend that everyone here contact your legislators in Tallahassee and tell them about the impact, as we're seeing, as Nancy just mentioned, over $800 million that impacts our residents and the beaches that we provide for them.
Any other questions for me? If you have difficulty with the Dropbox, give us a call. Paper copies can be provided if we need them. But thank you for doing it all online. Makes it cleaner.
Any questions for Nancy? Thank you.
Thank you.
For council information.
There are a number of things in your packet. Sorry, it's a big fat one this month. Lots of research reports and other things, but I hope you'll take the time to peruse those at your leisure. Or maybe when you have a sleepless night, you can get those out. I don't know.
Great, thank you. TDC member items. Pam. Phil.
All good, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Nothing this month.
Andrew, Tam. Bill?
Just a couple. One, we have private enterprise. There was talk about 4th of July, and Red, White, and Boom was brought up. We have a private enterprise that has developed basically the point right there where Red, White, and Boom happens every year. If you want to look it up, it's called Slipaway Food Truck Park and Marina. It's a fabulous website that's there. It is going to draw a lot of people to our area. It's going to make Red, White, and Boom even bigger than it's ever been, and it's a 12-month-a-year operation. It's pretty impressive. I would take a look at it. It's looking to open somewhere around June, and it'll also house all of the first responders that take care of safety during Red, White, and Boom. And lastly, we just poured the concrete, or the concrete was just poured for the new wave pool that's going in at Sunsplash. And so there's been talk and display of the attractiveness of the courts and all the pickleball and tennis that's been attracted there. It sits right across, for those that don't know, it sits right across a very small access road from Sunsplash Water Park, which will now have Paradise Cove wave pool. And so, and I don't know how it actually works when cameras are requested for our website, But I think that's a prime spot for a camera. It's 12-month a year, literally 7-day-a-week activities from sunrise until 9 o'clock at night. The courts are lit. So that has massive activity all the time. So if we're trying to display fun things to do in the area and we have budget or room for another camera location, I would humbly request, however that's done, to be considered to get a camera up that hits that entire area there, Sunsplash and the courts.
Great, thank you. Rob?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Tony?
Good.
I have two quick things. Again, House Bill 1221, can't stress enough. Please contact your legislators. It will change the way that we do business in Lee County if that tourist tax goes away. And April 16th, 11 a.m. at the school district, FRLA is holding a lunch that's being cooked by our students, and we welcome everyone to attend. Anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. We are adjourned.